So this last section is just going to be joining another computer to the domain, a normal computer. So if I take a look at my domain right now, I have 2 domain controllers. What I'm going to be doing is building another server. It's going to be my file server, so I'm going to call it DATA1. I'm going to build it as a standalone server. In fact, I've already done that already. I still have to configure it yet, so I'll show you how I'm going to configure it. Once I configure it, then I'm going to have it join the domain, but that's it. It's not going to be a domain controller. It's just going to be a file server. But it's going to be part of the domain, so it's going to rely on Active Directory for authentication to have access to it, as opposed to having individual user accounts that are on it. So that's what we're going to do right now. So I already built the server. I'll go through the process of configuring it, though. It's one of these. It is this one. Okay, so I'm going to configure this local server. The first thing is, in fact, I'm going to call it DATA1. That's not the computer name. Don't put it there. Put it under computer name.
Wouldn't you want to change the domain right there?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm going through the same process as I have in the past, just to keep it consistent.
Could you do that, though?
Not yet. I actually couldn't, because I wouldn't know what gopa.com is.
You didn't change, yeah.
And we'll get to that. I like going in order, sequential order, just to keep things consistent. So I thought I told it to restart,
No, you didn't.
but I was talking at the same time. So I'm going to restart. It's pretty fast for restarting, though. Make sure that you do have your 2 domain controllers running. DC1 and DC2 is running on the other screen. I'm going to log back in with Control-Alt-Insert. Server Manager will launch up again. And I'll go back to configure this local machine. It is called DATA1. It's part of a work group. We're leaving that for right now. I want to do the rest of the configuration first, such as IP addressing. IP addressing is very important in this step. One thing is we have to give it a static address, but I do need to change this DNS from what you're probably used to. So I'm going to use the following IP address of 192.168.118.14. 255.255.255.0 is our default gateway, which is perfectly fine. Our default, subnet mask, I'm sorry. Our default gateway is going to be 192.168.118.2. That's the same. It's our physical network router. It's how we get off our network. Our DNS, though, we now have 2 DNS servers sitting out there, and we want to use both of them. One as a primary and one as a backup. So I'm going to do 192.168.118.12, which is our first DC1 server. But if that's down for whatever reason, for maintenance or whatever, just like we have 2 Active Directory synchronization things going on, we can also have DNS synchronized as well. So, and then I'll point to my second DNS server, which is a domain controller, which is going to be our second DNS, is 192.168.118.13. So 12 and 13 down that way. So that way, if either one of those is down, you can still resolve names, especially names like gopa.com. Detecting problems. No idea what problem that would be. And let me refresh and see that I do have an IP address. I'm just going to click on it just to make sure. 192.168.118.14, 255. Yeah, everything looks fine. Okay, continuing down, I did maximize this to make sure I get these things over here, especially the time zone. I want to change the time zone to U.S. Central Time. These should be in your notes already from previous ones, so this isn't any different other than the DNS name numbers. That's the only thing that's been changed so far. And then click OK. Refresh again. And so now my machine is pretty set up. Prior to this, what you're watching right now, I already did the VMware tools, so that's all been taken care of. So now this is a base system. I could take out, I could go and make a base snapshot of this at this point. I don't think I will, though. I'll just have it join the domain.
Would you recommend us doing that?
Okay, I'll repeal that. As good practice, we should do it. So before joining the domain, a nice clean setup server, we should take a base snapshot for educational purposes, not generally in industry. So if I ever need to get this server back prior to joining the domain, like say things go bad during the join, I'm always able to at least get this far without having to do everything over. Take a snapshot called base image. Go ahead and power it back on. Go ahead and log in using Control-Alt-Insert. Realizing that all these things that I have underneath Server Manager configured this local server can be done elsewhere in Windows. In fact, I'm going to go to the Start menu and go up, right-click, and go to System. And you can change the computer name from here as well, and the workgroup. So either way, it brings the exact same dialog box up. I'm going to click Change, and I'm going to change it to a domain. If my DNS settings are set up properly, my DNS servers are running, it should be able to figure out who gopa.com is. Say, who allows you in? I know this guy named administrator. And you should get a welcome message. Welcome to the gopa.com domain. If it's not correct, it'll say, I don't know what you're talking about. And then you have to start troubleshooting as far as addressing and whatever. So go ahead and click OK. It does want you to restart, and go ahead and restart now. So we saw how to join a domain using sconfig in the command line, and now you can see how you join a domain using the graphical user interface as well. We are not making this a domain controller, so we're just going to leave it just the way that it is. When I do Control-Alt-Insert to log in, you're going to see that it's logging in as administrator. This is a local administrator. When you're a domain controller, administrator account automatically logs in as the domain administrator. If you log onto any other computer, it's going to look as a local administrator. If you want to log on to the domain administrator on this computer, you have to switch to other user. So that's really tricky. It's very confusing, but this is the local administrator account. If I want to switch to other user, I'd have to type in gopa/administrator. It's kind of funny that administrator account's the only one that does that. So if you watch down here, it says sign into gopa. If I type in anything else like Bob, it's going to look into gopa. If I do, Tammy, it's going to do gopa. But as soon as I do administrator, just administrator, see how it's switched to DATA1. So for the administrator account, it's on a non-domain controller. On a non-domain controller, it's going to try to log into the local machine. So in order to get to the actual domain administrator, you have to type in gopa / and now you're logged into gopa. Administrator. I'm just going to switch over to DC1 because I really don't care about DATA1 anymore at this point. And if I switch over to DC1 and log back in, as you can see here, the administrator is automatically logged into the domain. If I right-click on all servers and add another server, I can click find my DATA1, add it to the list. Now when I click on all servers, I can click on it, and I can see all the things that are going on, warnings, all the events that are going on, the services that are applied, its performance, roles and features. From here I can right click and I can add roles and features. I can restart the server. I can remote desktop to it. I can do PowerShell commands and send it to that server. So I can do everything basically from this one console manager, server manager.